I've been on this earth for a lot of years, almost 60 to be exact. And in that time, I've had a lot of ups and downs, and I've changed the way I think, I've changed the way I do things, I've changed my outlook on life. But there are still times where I catch myself worrying about things that I can't control. And I've been really, really good over the last 15 to 20 years about not worrying about those things as much. But every now and then something kind of sneaks in and gets me from behind, and then the worry starts again. So I want to talk about how we can change the way we think and not worry about what we can't control. So when thinking about worrying over things that you have no control over, where does that come from? So I did a quick search on ChatGPT, and my question or my prompt was, help me figure out how to handle things that I have no control over. And ChatGPT has a little snarkiness to it, but it's still relevant and I find pretty interesting. So I'm going to read to you what ChatGPT has come up with as far as how to take control of things you have no control over. It says, first, draw the hard line, and this is non-negotiable. So what they're asking is, ask yourself one blunt question. Do my thoughts change the outcome of the situation? And if the answer is no, then worrying is just anxiety cosplay. Okay. If the answer is yes, great. That's not no control. That's work to do. Good point. Second, trade control for influence. You may not control the following items: people's choices, outcomes, timing, or luck. And each of those makes very good sense to me. I know that I have no control over what you like to eat for breakfast. I can just tell you what I like to eat for breakfast. The outcomes of situations, we have no control over the winning lottery numbers. Plain and simple. Timing, I don't know what I would need to have control over for a timing issue. I don't have a good example for that. And luck, you put your little card in the slot machine just like everybody else, and you got the same chances they do. They might have bet more money than you did, but at the end of the day, the chances are the same, and you have no control over that outcome. You do have control over are how you respond to a situation. What was your reaction to that decision that your boss made last week about whether or not you were going to stay in the same department? You also have control over your boundaries. I've never really been somebody who set solid boundaries early in my life, and it's just now that I'm older and almost 60 and pushing retirement that I am setting boundaries, and I'm holding firm to those boundaries. And in subsequent videos, I will kind of go a little bit more into detail with some of the boundaries that I have set in my life, because I feel that they're pretty important for your mental health and your self-preservation. Another thing you have control over is where you spend your energy. And I like that because I don't have time in my life for nonsense anymore. I did entertain nonsense for a really, really, really long time. And in doing so, I set myself up for failure in many ways. And these are things that we'll talk about again in future videos, because I've got content for days. I've got ideas for years. But no, I choose not to entertain foolishness anymore. My energy needs to be saved for me and what's most important to me. And I used to allow energy zappers and suckers to take my energy from me, and I don't do that anymore. And lastly, you have control over when you can walk away from a situation. So if there's something that's not serving you, turn your back and hit the door, because honestly, if it's not worth your time or your effort or your energy or your anything, then you should probably step back. And another example of trying to control situations that you have no control over is rehearsing disasters, the what if scenario. See, the thing is, your brain loves worst case scenarios, and it's like it's getting paid to panic when it's in worry mode. You know, if it's not happening right now, why are you worried? Why is it upsetting you? It doesn't get full emotional billing if it's not happening right now. So if something is coming up that you're anxious about, don't run through the scenario in your head as you think it might be, because that's not how it's going to be. You have no control over that situation or that situation's outcome because it hasn't happened yet. So next up, ChatGPT says, shrink the time horizon. When things are out of your hands, thinking long-term fuels anxiety. So instead of, thinking about something that could happen down the road, think about what's the next right step, or what can I do in the next hour? Not next month, not 5 outcomes later, not tomorrow, just right now. Trying to control every situation is going to make your brain hurt. It's going to raise your blood pressure. It's going to make you anxious. And all that's going to do is shorten your life. So the best thing that you can do is to try to redirect your thoughts and try to busy yourself. Put something in your hands and do something, just so that your mind is not focused on the things that you are continually worrying about. Redirect the energy. Unused anxiety turns into rumination. So that translated into an old saying that I remember when my grandmother was around when I was a child: idle hands are the devil's workshop. And that is just so true. That's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Michelle, and this is Shell's Bits and Pieces, where you'll find a little bit of everything all in one place. And don't forget to like the video, share the video, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. And most important, click that bell. Once you're subscribed and you've hit that bell, that's when you'll be notified when more videos are coming out. Thanks again. I hope everybody has a great day.